What's going on, guys? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my review of Chelsea's 6-0 win against Barnsley in their first Carabao Cup game of the 2020-21 season. In this video I'm going to be going through the game, the key moments, as well as always giving you guys my player ratings for the game and my player of the season point scoring system as well. If you guys do enjoy these reviews, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of the game and your player ratings as well. And as always, subscribe to the BusterBarnes YouTube channel for more Chelsea videos, FPL videos, FIFA videos. We have a lot coming to you guys on this channel in the future. Just before I get on to talking about the game, it has just been confirmed that Chelsea have signed Mendy. Obviously, Lampard had already announced this in some press match conferences, but it is now official. He's actually in the shirt, and now we will hopefully not have to see Kepa in goal as much. I do think they are going to be competing, but hopefully, I think we can all say that Kepa doesn't look like he's going to be getting any better. So hopefully we now have a new goalkeeper who will at least be alright and be able to keep out the average amount of goals that you'd expect a keeper to do so. Okay guys, so as you know, how I usually do this is go through the game half by half first before giving you guys my player ratings. However, I think today it might be a bit easier to go through the player ratings as I speak about the game as well, to sort of give you guys an idea of how the game actually went if you didn't see it. So starting off in goal, we have Willy Caballero, who actually had to do a lot more work than us Chelsea fans would have expected or would have liked him to do, keeping out some pretty good shots from Barnsley, especially in the first half. There were periods where Barnsley were breaking through our midfield. When you have the pivot of Barkley and Kovacic, neither of them are really defensive powerhouses, so it was kind of easy for Barnsley to break through that point in midfield. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily put that against the defence, but nevertheless Caballero actually made some very good saves. Barnsley probably would have been a bit upset that they didn't score at least one goal in this game. They probably should have scored at least two, really, or realistically with the chances that they got. However, Caballero managed to keep it out, and maybe this is a message from him. He knows that Mendy is coming in, and whilst he is probably sure that he's not going to be Chelsea's main keeper, he wants to probably keep his cup spot intact. So maybe this was a message from him saying, hey, play me over Kepa in the cups, and it was a great performance from him. And I will be giving him, therefore, a 7.5 out of 10. Now, some of you might think that's a bit harsh, but I just want to explain how I'm doing the ratings for this game. Obviously, as you guys know, the base rating for an average performance is usually a 6. Because this game was against Barnsley, who, let's be honest, were lower opposition, not even in the same league as us, I will maybe be rating players a little bit lower than, say, I would do if we were facing a mid-table team or even a lower Premier League team, something like that, as Barnsley are pretty much the lower end of the Championship table most seasons. So 7.5 for Caballero. Going on to the defence, we played a 4 at the back, we played a 4-2-3-1 during the game, and we had Tomori as one of the centre-backs, the right-sided centre-back slot, which I was actually a bit surprised about. I did think that Thiago Silva was more of a right-sided centre-back, but maybe it doesn't matter. Some centre-backs, I'm sure, can play both sides, so maybe that's not a big point. I guess we'll find out what he plays when he plays with Zuma. But yeah, Tomori was on the right. Had a decent game, I noticed his performance. He made some good aerial clearances, some good blocks, made some good runs as well. So I do think it was a fair performance from him. Obviously, he was selected over Rudiger, who didn't even feature during the 11s, or during the entire squad. So I'm not too sure what's happening with him. There are rumours that Rudiger will be leaving, and if he's not being even considered for a game like this, then it does seem like there is some credit to those reports. So that's actually kind of a shame. I do quite like Rudiger, and if I could choose a centre-back to get rid of, I'd probably choose Christensen, but Rudiger may not have a future with Thiago Silva coming into this club, so fair play if he does leave. He's been a good soldier for us. But Tomori, decent performance from him. I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Nothing special, but solid, and had a few nice moments in there. His centre-back partner making his debut was Thiago Silva, and Thiago Silva had a very good game. There was one little mistake that he made. However, I really just noticed him clearing up the ball, sweeping in, and also just pinging passes from side to side. His passing just looked immaculate in this game, and obviously it was only against Barnsley, so you can't really, hold too much to him in this game. However, it was a good performance, so I think I'd rate him the same, 6.5 out of 10. I do think maybe he was a bit better than Tomori at points, but not enough for me to give him a 7 out of 10. I think a 6.5 was a fair enough rating for Thiago Silva. Going on to the left back, which was Emerson. I thought Chilwell might start this game, however, it was Emerson. Chilwell must have not been ready for a full 70, 90 minutes of a match. So it was Emerson, who actually looked quite good. And this is the thing with Emerson, he'll appear sporadically and actually perform okay. And it made us, as Chelsea fans, want him to be our main left back at a point during the Maurizio Sarri season. But it just doesn't seem like he can consistently keep up his mentality. You know, he's a great player, but his mentality seems to fade every now and again. He's probably going to be sold or loaned out during this window. But I did think it was a decent performance by him. I think some people might think this is better than what I rated him. However, I didn't really notice him a lot, but maybe that's because I just don't really care about Emerson at this point in time. But I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10 as well. I thought it was a decent performance from the Brazilian/Italian. Going on to right back, this will actually be my lowest score, and that is Cesar Azpilicueta, who will be getting a 5 out of 10. And I'm not holding this against him because at the end of the day, it is his first proper game back. He did get injured in the FA Cup final, so he's still probably working off that injury a little bit. But he was on the right side with Callum Hudson-Odoi as the right winger, and I think he hindered Hudson-Odoi to a point. You know, there was times where Odoi was making runs or looking to run down channels, and Azpilicueta would try and make the pass, but it would hit the first man, which I just think is, him needs to get a bit more sharp, a bit more match fit. So, I mean, it is fair enough, but it was kind of sad to see Hudson-Odoi maybe not get what he deserved in terms of his off-the-ball work from Azpilicueta. And also, he did miss a chance as well, which he maybe should have scored, which would have been an assist for Hudson-Odoi as well. So, Azpilicueta, I'm not holding this against him, but I am giving him a 5 out of 10 for this game. Going into the midfield, the pivot, it was a 4-2-3-1 like I mentioned. Kovacic first, was an alright game from him. He did win a few fouls, he did do some nice dribbles, however, I didn't really necessarily notice him, which isn't always bad for someone that's in a pivot for you not to notice them, because maybe they're doing their job right. But I just think it was average. I don't think he did anything amazing. He tried some flicks which didn't really work. Like I said, the midfield did sort of get cut through a little bit by Barnsley, mainly because there wasn't really a defensive outlet in there. So I'm going to be giving Kovacic a 6 out of 10, so very average performance from him. Next, his partner in the pivot, Ross Barkley. Like I said, not defensive at all, but Barkley did have a decent game. Definitely stood out a bit more than Kovacic. Was making some nice runs, made some good dribbles actually, and some good passes. He had a lot of energy going around the pitch, and really, as Chelsea fans, we've obviously all wanted Loftus-Cheek to sort of push through in 5 as a Chelsea midfielder, and Barkley is making that quite tough for him, to be fair. He has been performing quite well against Brighton when he came on, and in this game, obviously though it is just against Barnsley, but Barkley did manage to get a goal for himself as well. Nice finish past former Chelsea youth goalkeeper Bradley Collins, I believe he's called. So decent performance from Barkley. These are the types of games where he does turn up, and to be fair, these sort of cup fixtures. So I am probably going to be giving him a 6.5 out of 10. Maybe I could have given him a 7, but I think I'll stick with 6.5 as it was against, poor opposition. But moving on to our number 10 of the game, Kai Havertz, scoring himself a very nice hat-trick indeed, and really showed off some of his work rate. He kept fighting for the ball, and it really led to him getting some goals. And also his link-up play with Tammy Abraham was actually very good as well. Tammy, I thought, had a great game, but I'll get on to him in a bit. But yeah, Havertz did get an assist, I believe, as well. He made the tackle, which I believe was the goal which fell to Barkley. So that was some good work from him. He did some nice moves as well, dribbling past the goalkeeper for one of his goals, dribbling and running through defenders. I thought it was a nice performance from him. Obviously, he's got way more quality than any of the Barnsley players. So whilst, a website like Who Scored to be giving him a 10 out of 10 rating because of the hat-trick, because it was against Barnsley, I'm going to be giving him an 8.5, as he did score a hat-trick, but at the end of the day, it's not against immaculate or even average opposition. So I think 8.5 is fair for Havertz. Hopefully he can carry on this form and this fitness into our next matches in the Premier League. Now he's got a goal, maybe that will boost his confidence a bit and get him playing to the level that we all want him to do so. Going on to the wings, we had Mason Mount on the left wing, which I sort of see why we did it, because Emerson was the left back and Aspi was the right back. Obviously, with Azpilicueta being a bit more defensively sound, you want Mason Mount, who does a bit more defensive work on the left side with Emerson. But I would have potentially liked to see Hudson-Odoi on the left. Hudson-Odoi did go to the left eventually, or at certain points during the match. But yeah, Mount, he did miss a good chance in the first half, but he did pick up his game in the second. He was making a lot of runs, trying to make things happen, and was all over the place, as you can expect him to. So I would have probably given him a 6 just for the first half, but I think I will boost that up to a 6.5, just because I do think that he made some really good opportunities for himself and other players during the second half. So a 6.5 for Mount. He just seems to play all the time. Going to the right wing, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, a lot coming out about him, maybe going on loan, maybe leaving. I think it's a load of rubbish, really. He's basically our backup winger to Havertz or Pulisic. I know he hasn't played recently, but I think that's more tactical and fitness-wise than actually him not being selected. And if you look at what happened with Pulisic last year, guys, Pulisic didn't play for pretty much the entire half of the season, or at least regularly. So I don't think we have to be too worried yet about Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think Lampard is just trying to build him up and get him to the right level of training before he actually starts starting games and providing. I would have probably given Hudson-Odoi a 6 as well if we were just basing it off the first half. He could have actually scored very early on. He got a very good chance within the first minute, but unfortunately it was a good save from the goalkeeper. And it did just seem like he was overplaying a little bit, thinking a bit too much. You know, he'd hold on to the ball a little bit too long, and also he'd, be passing back a lot to the defender. Like I said, though, I do think Azpilicueta hindered him a little bit, because when he did make good runs or make good movements, Azpilicueta wasn't there. And there was also a lot of times where Hudson-Odoi actually put some good balls into the box, but either a Chelsea player wasn't there to get it, or it was a good block from a Barnsley player. So in the second half, I do think he picked up his game. He did some very good balls into the box. Probably should have got maybe 2 assists during the match. So for that, I'm going to give him the same rating as Mount. I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. It's early days with him, so I'm not going to be rating him too much. However, he does obviously have to step up his game if he wants to be starting games in the Premier League. And going up front, finally, we have Tammy Abraham, who, to be fair, in my opinion, was probably our man of the match. However, because Havertz got the hat-trick, I think that boosts his rating up. So Abraham, for me, is going to get an 8 out of 10. He did score our first goal when it was looking a bit difficult for us with Barnsley having a few attacks. Abraham, just by himself, basically pressing the Barnsley defence, nicking the ball off the defender and slotting it nicely in the back of the net. He also did a really good dummy for a pass from Mount, which fell straight to Havertz for his goal, which was absolutely great play. He also did a really nice back heel to assist Havertz as well when he ran into the box. And also, he did a nice through ball through, which, to be fair, the keeper messed it up a little bit. Maybe could have collected that through ball, but that was when Havertz dribbled past him and scored as well. So I think it was really an amazing performance by Abraham. Obviously against Barnsley, a championship side, but it really showed that Abraham really wants to fight for his place. Is, not going to be happy just sitting on the bench, doesn't want to leave either. He wants to fight for that Chelsea shirt, and he looked great, so you can't really fault his appearance at all. Was, battling all the way, so fair play to Abraham. Going to give him an 8 out of 10. Going onto the bench quickly, Kurt Zuma came on for Thiago Silva, as maybe he wasn't ready for the full 90 minutes. Maybe we'll see Thiago Silva get the full 90 against West Brom. Zuma, I'm just going to give a 6 out of 10. He didn't really have much to do at this point, so it was just a standard performance from him. Chilwell and Giroud, however, did come on to make their appearances. Ben Chilwell to actually make his debut. Both of them are going to get a 6.5 out of 10, mainly because they both linked up for Chelsea's 6th goal. Chilwell just putting a nice cross into the box for Giroud to head it home. Chilwell looking good, making some good dribbles, some good runs, obviously against tired Barnsley legs though, and also had a good shot that was saved from the goalkeeper as well. Giroud looked lively and was holding up the ball well when he came on too, so I'm going to be giving them both a 6.5 out of 10 for their appearances. Maybe if you're sort of giving their rating a little bit different because they're substitutes, maybe they deserve a 7, but I'll stick them on 6.5 for now. So yeah, guys, that was my ratings for the game. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with any of those ratings, or just leave your entire team ratings down below as well. I do think maybe some players deserved a bit higher, but I did just want to take into account that we were against, poor championship opposition. But as you guys know, this is now the point in the video where I get onto my player of the season point system, where I'll give one player 3 points, one player 2 points, and one player 1 point, which will then be tallied up, and at the end of the season we will be able to decide who our player of the season is. However, as this game was a Carabao Cup game against Barnsley, which maybe doesn't offer the best idea of players maybe making a name for the player of the season, I'm only going to be giving a maximum of 2 points out. I won't be giving anyone the full 3. I was actually thinking of only giving a player 1, but because Havertz got a hat-trick, I think he did deserve 2, so I'm just giving that away quickly, spoiler alert. But I'm actually going to give 2 players 1 point. That is going to be Willy Caballero and Tammy Abraham. Like I've obviously rated, I did rate Abraham a bit better, but I do think Willy deserved credit for his performance, as, you know, he got the clean sheet, and we probably shouldn't have got that, and he made some great saves, and Barnsley would be really disappointed that they didn't get a few goals, and that was down to him keeping the clean sheet. So, and obviously it's rare that Chelsea keep a clean sheet, so it's always nice to see. So 1 point for Willy Caballero, 1 point for Tammy Abraham's great performance, and 2 points for Kai Havertz's hat-trick as well. No 3 points being given out for this fixture, which ranks a bit lower in terms of our important fixtures of the season. So yeah, now you guys will be able to see how the rankings all sort out. No one above 3 points yet. Some people on 1 point as well. I'm sure more players will get added throughout the season. But also let me know down below how you guys would rank the players. Who would you guys give your 3 points to? I would love to know. Thank you guys for watching this video and supporting the channel. I will be bringing out my FPL Game Week 3 preview tomorrow, and the next day I'll be giving you guys my preview for our away game against West Brom. So stay tuned for all of that content, as well as more footballing content on this channel as well. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the BusterBarnes YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time.